To seek the origin of yoga, we must go back to very ancient times in which the general thrust of migration brought new tribes into India. In these remote days, Lord Shiva is said to have studied 84,000 yoga exercises to determine the most efficacious for yoga aspirants. We have only myths to tell us about such matters, however, and the first reliable information about Indian culture, based on archaeological discoveries, concerns the Indus area with the inhabited centers Mohenjo-Daro, Taxila, and Harappa. Mohenjo-Daro, a fortified town, was divided by streets from about 4.5 to 11 yards in width. Houses with several stories and palaces with paved floors and staircases indicate a style of living marked by comfort and luxury. Many dwellings had baths and lavatories. The town itself possessed an astonishingly good sewage network and an ingenious irrigation system. In 1500 BC, the Indo-Aryan conquerors reduced the Indus civilization to dust and ashes. During archaeological digging operations, icon-like images were found, which can be regarded as the first plastic portrayals we have of a yogi. Unfortunately, no one has ever succeeded in translating the 5,000-year-old inscriptions, which have kept their secrets to the present day. The large bath recalls the characteristic tank of the Hindu temple, whose priests also believe that their worship of fire and the lingam is founded on the culture of Mohenjo-Daro. Here we see stairs of a Hindu temple tank compared with stairs at Mohenjo-Daro. The Kailasha temple was built at the command of King Krishna II in 800 AD and was carved out of a rock face. This overwhelming monument represents the victory of Hinduism over Buddhism and Jainism. The main temple is a lingam shrine in which ceremonies in honor of Shiva are held. This is the first time a lingam puja and a fire cult ceremony have been filmed. The inspiration of light was well known to Christian mystics. Just as in Christianity, the Lamb of God is worshipped only as a symbol, so here the visible light is symbolic of the mystical experience of truth. The Shiva Lingam Puja is an exercise in which physical posture, consciousness, and respiration are brought into harmony with the self. Through the convergence of consciousness on the lingam, the power of concentration is increased. From Professor Malvad of India, we learn that the Shiva Lingam Puja is of Dravidian origin and may be said to be founded on the cult of Mohenjo-Daro. Still today, it's practiced in the temples, and yoga has its origins in the same cultural epoch. Sandal paste is prepared and painted in 3 lines, the sign of Shiva on the forehead. Curdled milk symbolizes the ability to distinguish between things. Milk symbolizes the creation. Water, the mystery of life. The lingam is the phallic symbol of the transformation of sexual potency into spiritual irradiation. This transformed potency is known as ojas. Correctly transformed, it lends the consciousness creative energy. After worship, one sits for several hours in the obligatory posture, in concentration on the lingam. The Himalaya region has always been the seat of the rishis, the holy sages. Where the great foothills give way to pleasantly hilly countryside, about 75 miles from Tibet, lies Lakshmanjula. The Lakshmanjula Bridge is just over 1 yard in width. Whoever wishes to cross to the other side of the Ganges has no alternative but to walk or saddle a donkey. On both sides of the Ganges abound temples, ashrams, that is, yoga schools, dharmashalas, free places of refuge for the pilgrims, kshetras, at which, through generous donations from believers, free nourishment is provided, and cloisters where everyone can find peace for meditation. The whole headwater region of the Ganges is surrounded by primeval-like jungle. In this hidden and even dangerous sylvan solitude, the yogis live in holes in the ground or in small huts. By a narrow path, we reach Premvarni, one of these almost inaccessible yogi hermits who leads a purely contemplative life. Fortunately for us, he was not sunk in meditation. At such times, he's likely to remain in his cave, completely absorbed, without food or sleep, for up to 3 weeks. In this cave once lived the Pandavas, the legendary heroes of the Mahabharata. Here we come into contact with the age-old tradition of retreat to the jungle in search of final spiritual cognition. In Jaranda Samhita, the Vastra Dhoti, known as the cleansing exercise, together with a suitable diet, is recommended for various stomach complaints. For example, mycodermitis. In this discipline, a bandage about 5.5 yards long and 3 inches wide must be swallowed. The end of the bandage is placed as far back in the mouth as possible. By means of chewing and swallowing movements, the bandage is conveyed inch by inch to the stomach. It is difficult at first to prevent the throat nerves from reacting against the bandage. Without inner effort and patience, it could never be accomplished. Through mobilizing the forces of self-control, the ascetic can free himself from all sense of fear and from all bodily distractions. 2 inches of the bandage must remain visible so that it can be pulled out again without difficulty. Once the bandage has been swallowed, the stomach is exercised through contractions of the abdominal muscles. In this way, a more thorough cleansing of the coat of the stomach occurs, and the gastric juice is absorbed. Finally, the bandage is carefully removed to the accompaniment of movements of the diaphragm. Through Jalaneti, the nostrils are washed out. In Ayurveda, this discipline is recommended for the relief of chronic headaches, sleeplessness, and nasal trouble. Jalaneti is carried out on both sides. A teaspoonful of salt or a little lemon should be added to the water. Finally, breathing exercises are done to remove any remaining water. The head is turned to the right and to the left, whereby the upper part of the body is bent slightly forward, and the breath is drawn deeply in and out through the nostrils. Premvarni is the living example of his words. one is conscious of the depth of inner knowledge which has molded him during years of solitude. His tranquility, noticeable to all who meet him, is at the same time infused with a particular kind of awareness, happily transferable to others. Admirers and pupils of Premvarni prepare the place where their master will perform the yoga asanas, that is, yoga postures. Pranayama, known as the rhythmic full breathing of the yogi, has been used since ancient times as a method of soothing the nervous system and achieving a balanced frame of mind. Matsyendrasana is unique in its effectiveness. It strengthens the vertebral column through rotation from one side to the other. Matsyendrasana to the right. Matsyendrasana is carried out on both sides. The body should be relaxed after every asana. In this way it's trained, but not overtaxed. It was realized thousands of years ago that the body is animated by two principles, tension and relaxation. Continuous good health is possible only where these two forces are in complete equilibrium. The lotus seat, Padmasana, is the posture most suitable for breathing exercises. The Indian yogis base their breathing on the beat of the heart. Counting the rhythm of the pulse, they breathe in and out as prescribed. By reason of the diversity of human talents, various kinds of yoga have been developed. Hatha yoga allows a strong, healthy development of the body. Karma yoga is the way of practical action as protection against the superficiality of everyday life. In Raja yoga, thoughts and feelings are controlled by willpower. Jnana yoga leads by way of cognition to the same goal. Bhakti yoga follows the path of loving servitude, of unconditional sacrifice. These various systems of yoga differ only in their starting point. Their essence and their goal is always the same, perfect self-knowledge. A special feature of Hatha yoga, in contrast to European gymnastics, is that the movements are carried out slowly and consciously. Coordination of breathing rhythm and movement also plays a decisive role. It should always be carried out in a relaxed atmosphere. Through concentration on particular parts or functions of the body during an asana, the yogi is able to animate the respective nerves, glands, or internal organs. Gomukhasana is helpful for rheumatism in the various joints and invigorates the shoulder muscles. In Sanskrit, Lola indicates a particular kind of peacock. In Lolasana, all the muscles of the neck and the extremities are exercised. This is a somewhat difficult asana and usually requires a lot of practice. We know that there is a close connection between respiration and the state of mind. Further, that there is interplay between the mind and the glandular system. From this, we can begin to understand the often astonishing success of yoga as a method of healing. With the help of special breathing exercises, substantial influence can be obtained over the whole metabolism. Sitali is a cleansing respiratory exercise. Combined with holding the breath, that is kumbhaka, it increases alertness and powers of reaction. Sitkari is recommended for fatigue. This breathing method stimulates the nervous system. Ketchari mudra leads to complete control of the reflex process of respiration, by which breathing comes almost to a halt. In this way, it becomes possible to separate consciousness from the material world.